My top query tip is have a buddy. Not just because you need to have someone looking over your query package and, making sure that your letter and pages are in the best shape they can be, but also because you're going to need someone to scream with, whether it's happy screaming, sad screaming, angry screaming, it's all screaming.
If you are querying and you aren't getting any bites, there's probably something wrong with your query. And if you're querying and you're getting bites but you're not getting offers, there's probably something wrong with your book. Even that bit of knowledge is feedback, and it can give you a starting place to examine what is not working. I want to caveat that though too, because sometimes it's not about you. Sometimes an agent's just busy, or a person is just busy that you submit to, or it's just not up their alley, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that you have to make changes. When you start to see patterns though, that's when you want to take it a little bit more seriously. If you're lucky enough to receive a personalized rejection, go you, that is a win, and celebrate it for the win that it is. And also make changes, or highly consider making changes accordingly.
My top query tip is to inject some personality into your letter without being gimmicky, but by word choice and sentence length and style, letting your prose, even in your query letter, reflect the tone of your book, whether that is dark, whimsical, lyrical, but let that voice come through in your query letter.
My top query tip is to read other people's book jackets, because figuring out how to condense your story that you've poured your heart and soul into a snappy pitch in a query letter is really hard. Reading people's book jackets is kind of a good cheat, because that's exactly what those book jackets do, is they're trying to pull you in to read the book. So if you look at your favorite books and you read the book jackets and you think like, okay, what is this taking in the story that makes me really want to read it? That can kind of help you start thinking that way about your own book.
My top query tip is to read other queries. But I don't think that you should just read the successful queries. I think that you should look on websites like Query Shark and also look at some queries that needed a bit more workshopping before they were ready. You can read abstractly about all of these things like, you need to have stakes, you can't have too much world building, you need this, you need that. But what's really helpful is seeing it in context. So if you read just successful queries, it's great to be like, oh, great, that's what worked. But what doesn't work? And seeing that in practice and seeing examples of queries that kind of fall into some common pitfalls can really help you avoid them when the time comes to be able to sit down and write your own query.
My top query tip is to look up the agents who represent your favorite authors. You can find that in the acknowledgement sections of their books, or on their Twitter bios, or on their websites. That's a way to find a really good initial list of agents.
My top query tip: research agencies, because agencies have lots of different agents in them, and maybe you know of one agent and you want to research them, but at an agency you can read all of the agent stuff and you don't know until you've come across the agent that they're going to be the best advocate for you and the best fit communication style wise.
Research the agents that you're querying ahead of time, and this may seem like a no-brainer, but plenty of people don't do it. Make sure that they actually represent the thing that you are querying, that they are open to queries, and make sure you follow their directions. A lot of agents or agencies will have specific guidelines on how they want you to submit. Please follow those to the letter. It makes the whole process easier, and it makes you look like a serious professional.